Hey folks, how's it going? So, I told you over a week ago I'm gonna post you my beliefs on religion. Look, let me just be clear. I do believe there's a God. Okay, I do believe God exists. Okay, I do. For some of you that know me, know that back in '92, I was at Mulberry High School. I was in a car wreck. If you go and look on my Facebook page, underneath the photo albums, and one of them's called My First Car. It's a picture of my car I had in high school. Picture I got in a car with a car wreck. The before and after pictures are there. The story is there. And to give you synopsis of the story is, you know, I was pushed, drugged to church. I went to Willow Oak Baptist. I was drugged to go to Willow Oak Baptist my entire life, basically all the way up to the point of being a teenager. Of course, when I started driving, it kind of faltered off. I still went with my mom and all that, the peaser and all that good stuff. But the thing of it is my I went to this church, and you know, I'm not saying nothing against the church. I'm not at all. I just at that stage of my life, I'm like, why am I believing in something I can't see, touch, or feel? Touch and feel the same thing. Anyway, sorry. But so I can't see him. I can't say hi to him. I can't do any of this stuff. So it was hard for me to believe this. So I went to, like I said, I went to church to appease my mother. So anyway, we you know, now let's move on to the car wreck. The day of the car wreck. My mom was, my mom and dad were divorced, and my mom lived in Lakeland, there, Lakeland High School. My dad lived in Imperial Lakes. So, you know, I was going to Mulberry because I chose to go to Mulberry. Could have went to Lakeland, but I chose to be a name and not a number. So I chose Mulberry. Anyhow, so I'm all excited, man. I went to my mom's house this weekend, over the weekend, and I'm like, man, I studied, man. I was, you know, I had to get my grades up, you know, and stuff like that. My dad was going to take away my car and license and all that if I didn't get them up. So I studied hard over the weekend with my mom. You know, my mom didn't mind because I was, you know, just studying. But, so that that day comes, and I'm heading to school, man, and I go hop in my car, and my mom comes running out, and she's like, Dwayne, stop. I'm like, what's up, Mom? She's like, don't go to school. I'm like, what? I'm thinking back in my head, I'm like, man, something is definitely wrong with my mother. She's telling me not to go to school. So, I'm like, Mom, why? She's like, I just got a bad feeling. I got a bad feeling. Like, Mom, listen, I love you and all. I said, I get it, but this woman intuition thing, you know, mother intuition stuff, you know, I gotta go to school. I'll be safe. She's like, well, it's foggy. I said, Mom, I'll be safe. Don't worry about it. I'll be safe. I'll have my headlights on, the whole nine. I gotta go. I want to get there early. You know, I want to knock this test out. I want to kind of study a little bit more before I get there, kind of, you know, wake up the brain. You know, those are my pre-Mountain Dew days. Pre-Mountain Dew for coffee days. Anyway, so you know, I take off, and you know, my mom's standing out there just watching me drive away, and I'm like, you know, just my mother, you know, I'm thinking it was just my mother doing her motherly thing. So I get a few miles down the road and decided, you know, I'm gonna get me some gas. I got top off, I'm empty, so top it off at Texaco's on the corner of 98 and what is that? Lakeland, Cleveland. I don't know. Anyway, it's right where old Scotty's and all that in 98. That's irrelevant. Anyhow, so I take off, and I decided to go ahead and, you know, I'm going down Lakeland Hills Boulevard down there, where now there's a Lowe's and McDonald's and Mellow Mushroom and all that good stuff down there now. There's a subdivision as you cross underneath the parkway called the Meadows. Mind you, all this stuff is not there back in 92. So I'm just cruising down this 2-lane road, you know. That's all it was, straight 2 lanes. No additional lanes that there is now. There's 2 lanes. So anyway, I'm cruising there. Next thing you know, it's foggy, you know. I got my headlights on. I'm cruising. Next thing you know, all I remember is this big giant crew cab 4-door truck turns in front of me, goes into the subdivision. Well, I end up hitting him, bounced off of him, ran into the concrete wall that says the Meadows. So I took down as of today, I mean, that's just 92, that new street sign and all that right there in front of the Meadows, and concrete that holds up the wooden meadow sign and all that. That's all courtesy of my insurance back then. Because I destroyed all that, obviously. So, anyhow, the guy also had a big truck. I mean, I was in a small 85 Chevy Celebrity 4-door car, small thing. And, you know, somehow or another, this big truck did a couple 360s and went in a ditch opposite of the direction he was coming in at. Weird. Physics. Go figure. Anyhow, I was pronounced DOA. No heartbeat, no blood pressure, no nothing. So next thing you know, I can see everything above. I can see the ambulance all working on me. I can see my dad's IROC rolling in, IROC Z rolling in. I can see it all. So I get up to this bright. There's not a white on this planet that can touch this white light, and there's a tunnel. So I knew where I was at. Of course, I went to church. I knew where I was. I was in Judgment Day. I was scared. I ain't gonna lie, because I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't believe in this guy. Oh my Lord. Oh my God, I'm going south. So I walk out, and you know, I always use this analogy, using a reference of this gentleman by the name of Brad Garrett. He's the big guy who plays the brother to Ray Romano and Everybody Loves Raymond. You know, you take his deep voice and multiply it by 10, that's what I got. I got his voice saying, Dwayne, it's not your time to go. I'm giving you a second chance to live. Okay? So I wake up, or should I say I not wake up, but I come through, and they start freaking out. They see me. All vitals start kicked in. I mean, man, this ambulance is driving away. They were driving with me to the morgue. They were driving with no sirens, no lights, no nothing. My dad's behind me, and that's a whole new different religious story about this, but I won't go into that right now. But my dad's back there. My dad's Catholic, and he was back there just praying. You know, as soon as he seen the sirens light up and the ambulance starts to haul butt, he's praying hard. So anyhow, when I opened my eyes, I said, holy blank, he changed his mind. You know what I said? Start with the S, end with the T. And I'm just trying not to cuss right now. Anyhow, so I was like, holy crap, he changed his mind. Well, I'm in the ER and all that. They got me in the hospital, suturing up my leg. I got cut all the way down to my bone in my leg, and tore my ACL and all that crap up in my leg. Broke my breastbone, stuff like that. So anyhow, I'm lucky to be alive. But all of a sudden, this paramedic comes up to my parents. He's like, "Hey," he's like, "Can I talk to your son?" And they're like, "Well," my dad and mom's like, "Absolutely. You saved my son's life. You're a part of the team, so absolutely." So the guy comes in. He's like, "Hey, look, I'm a youth minister. I do this part time over at a church in Lakeland." And he's like, at Ardella Baptist. He's like, man, you said something, and I want to know what you mean by what you said. I'm like, okay, what did I say? I know what I thought I said, and I'm thinking, oh, it did whatever. I said something different. So he's gonna prove that what I thought I saw and it did and all that was false. So he says, hey, he says when your vitals and all that kicked in, he says, man, all of a sudden he said, holy crap, holy blank, he changed his mind. So I want to know what you mean. I said, listen, man. I said, religion is, in my opinion, is not really to be talked about in the medical hospitals and stuff like that, because they start thinking that you're Looney Tune and all that. So I was like, listen, man, I said, I don't want to think that I'm Looney Tune. I don't feel like going up to the Looney Tune floor up here at Lakeland Regional. You get my address from my parents, find out where I'm going, we'll talk. Come by the house. Sure enough, he did. We talked. He told me. We talked again. And it solidified that what I saw and all that was real. Okay. So yes, I owe my life to God. I do. I know that there's a God. Okay. Now, my thing with religion is this, and I'm struggling with it. My best friend Kevin, he's a pastor, and his church has actually helped me out just recently, and God bless him for that. And he knows why I struggle on a lot of this stuff. But this is my thought. There's so much stuff I could tell you about myself through my childhood. I'll give you the highlights, but there's a lot of low points. Even though all my highlights are low points, but I'm born with epilepsy. I fought and defeated that. My parents' divorce, stuff in between that with my grandparents that I'm not going to put on social media. Excuse me, let me make sure I'm clear on that. Not the Vine's side, but my mother's side. First marriage. Biological daughter, losing her, a bunch of other stuff. And what I did while I was in the military, the stuff I saw in the military, witnessed, and and all the stuff I've witnessed and dealt with in my life, loss of life. I had a friend of mine in high school. They were drag racing, and next thing you know, they flipped their car over right there in front of my house, and in a pile of blood. I'm trying to save my friend Sean's life. I was a teenager then. There's so much agony and pain, surgeries that went awry, car wreck just recently with my wife involved, and hurting her through the wreck, and that's something I don't condone, and I never thought in a million years I'd hurt my wife. But even though it was an accident with the car, it was, it still is just, my heart is where it belongs, and my heart belongs to saying that I don't hurt women ever, but anyhow, so I've questioned my best friend who's a pastor and other Christian people, and saying, well, if God is so much of a saint that everybody makes him out to be, then why does he allow me to suffer? He saved me once. What is his purpose with me? His purpose is to make me suffer through life, to go through pain and agony, just to make me a better person, or to see where I come from. Okay, so this is why I struggle, and this is why I kind of shut down everybody in Christianity. As I'll be like, well, if God kept me alive, and God did keep me alive. Let me rephrase that. God did keep me alive. But if God knows what I'm going to do the rest of my life, then why would he allow me to feel the way I feel towards the Bible? Okay? Why would he make me suffer even more through my life? I question the authenticity of the Bible. I said this to a friend of mine just as a matter of fact yesterday. I'm with his dad. I said, honestly, the Bible is the 2,000 years of Facebook. It was Facebook 2,000 plus years ago. Okay. Honestly, to me, the Bible is hearsay. And you know, if the Bible is a book of journeys that God has done things for people, then you know I should have a book in the Bible myself called the Book of Dwayne about what God did for me and all that. You know, in January of '92. You know, case in point, my dreams I was actually going to go to Junior Olympics. I was a couple months away from that. I was qualified and everything. I was training hard. And next thing you know, that car took me out of that. So my dreams of actually being a martial artist in the Junior Olympics and or the Olympics was gone. Shattered. But, you know, you can throw all these verses at me. That's great. But you know, these verses to me are you know, verses to me are in a way a motivator. It's like watching a motivation. Like I've been posting motivational videos, military-based motivational speeches on YouTube, from YouTube onto Facebook. You know, just trying to help people in life. You know, think about, you know, a different mindset and how to get through struggles. You know, and I just, to me, that's all it is it's a motivational. It's like some bunch of motivational speak writers got together back in the heyday and put together this book, and you know, that's all it is how do I know that? I mean, honestly, you know, case in point, how do I not know the book is actually written by one person with a massive multiple personality disorder? How do I know that, you know, that the Book of John and the Book of David and all that is not one part of the guy's personality? You know, schizophrenic or whatever the case is. But yet he calls it the Book of David. He calls it the Book of Paul, you know, etc., etc. You know, I mean, everybody thinks God is goody two-shoes. He's not. See, according to the book, he hated human beings because they screwed up so damn much. So he created a flood. Well, guess what? There you go. He told David to fight his personalities to go fight the Goliath, and say when he gets done beating his rear end, to chop his head off and run through the streets saying, "Hey, look what I did, guys! I killed this monster! Yay! I'm no longer being bullied." So you know what? I've already met God. I've dealt with God. And again, if God had a problem with me thinking the way I do, he would have just took me that back then and let me go down south back in the day, instead of letting me struggle with this since that day. Now I understand, now let me explain something to you. When I had this wreck, I got really religious afterwards. I did. I've rebaptized myself several times. You know, 10 plus years ago, I was helping out Crestview Baptist and doing all this good stuff, but I got destroyed by Christians after my wreck in 2011 with the four-wheeler in it. You know, doctors suspected me to be a vegetable and all that crap, and they told my family that, you know, he's going to be a vegetable. I was going to just basically put him under. I lost over 90% of my blood, but yet I proved them wrong. I came through, and then all of a sudden when I'm fighting, they're like, okay, well, he's not going to be apparently going to be a vegetable, but he's going to not be the same person. It's a proven fact, and people with head trauma and so on and so forth. You know, basically told my whole family, like, listen, you're going to get 80% of the old Dwayne back, 20% of the new Dwayne, and the 20% you're not going to probably like. And there's been a big change in my life mentally since then, the way I look at people and stuff like that. And it even solidified, it was the final nail in the coffin, the way I look at people and deal with people anymore, because when I needed help, everybody judged me. Everybody judged me because I was different after that wreck. Everybody. All the Christians at the two churches I was doing martial arts with judged me. I was basically pushed out of those churches because I was doing something on Facebook that my psychiatrist and everybody thought was phenomenal. And that was, you know, I had short-term memory. I couldn't remember a lot of stuff. You know, there's a lot more stuff I'm not going to go into detail about. But my, with my memory, my anger, I was doing anger. I had to go learn how to speak, read, and write again over Winter Haven Hospital. I'm pointing over because I'm over close to Winter Haven Hospital. I had to go do all that. I had to deal with cognitive reasoning. I had to do a lot of stuff. My anger was amplified, bigger than doo-doo, and so I used Facebook as a tool back in 2011, and and it was, basically I would post videos of, this music, Eminem, Limp Bizkit, stuff like that, to express my anger or my attitude. And what I would do is, now I didn't know about the Only Me crap and all that stuff back then, so I didn't know I could do that. But yet, what I did was I would post these things. I would say I'm mad, or I'm this guy, this, that, whatever. What I would do is I go back the next day I would go back to the previous day on my wall, and I'll look and I'll be like, at 1:30 I posted this video. Why did I post this video? Why was I mad? Why was I upset? Why was I sad? And then I would figure it out, and then I'm like, okay, well, how can I correct that? How can I help myself? I was self-helping my own self, and when my psychiatrists heard me tell them that, they thought it was the most amazing thing ever. They're like, social media has been the downfall of divorces and stuff like that, and just they thought it was the most amazing thing. They're like, keep it up, Dwayne, keep it up. That's what you need. That's what you need. But you know what? I had everybody question me, put me out to pasture, basically. No one had the cojones except for one person by the name of Mr. Miles, who was one of my martial art teachers, who actually was like, Dwayne, what's going on? What's going on? And I told him, because his wife kind of, in a way, she was being caring, but she was kind of crawling me too, because I was a leader in a Christian martial arts ordeal, and to stop my Facebook was not appropriate, and this, that, and other. So when I explained that to him and explained it to her, they all understood. They understood. My best friend, I love him to death. I'll die for that man. My best friend since knee-high grasshopper. I got 3 of them. 2 of them I've known since knee-high grasshopper, and they went to both my parents' funerals in different states just to be with me, and that shows you best. They drove to these places. They drove to Illinois and Kansas to be with me 2 separate times because my parents passed away. That's phenomenal. That's best friends right there, period. But anyway, my best friend, who's a pastor now, he's learned from it. We've talked, and he's helping me, and I love him to death. His name's Kevin, and Kevin admitted he thought the same thing. He was passing judgment on me because of what I was posting. I said, Kevin, let me explain something to you. I said, I'm not trying to be rude, brother. I said, but here's the thing. I said, you're passing judgment on something you think you know. I said, he's like, well, you were posting all this music from Eminem and all this stuff, and I know that music's all cussing and all that. I said, no. I said, yeah, you're right. I said, but however, the Christian side of me found the clean versions. Now, I'm going to admit, there was maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 that slipped through the cracks that wasn't, but I mostly was always looking for that. So there's my person, I'm not going to say who it is, but a person who also helped try to mentor to me, made a statement. It's true. Christians eat their own kind. They turn their back. When you're not doing a Christian thing. I mean, here I am. I'm a youth leader. I'm working with the youth kids and all that. I have the accident. Accident changes me. So so if the church knew me beforehand and knew the type of person I was, and then knew I was in an accident, but yet then again, when all of a sudden things change, no one bothers me. The pastor of the church and so on and so forth. No one. So if religion is, the way I look at it is this: I know that God is real. I know, and I question it, but you know what? I mean, the way I look at it too is if the saying goes, God made the heavens and the earth, then that means He's made all the disasters that come along with earth. He wiped everybody out with the flood. What's a hurricane? Is that way God's saying, I'm tired of doing, I gotta delete some of the mankind so that way they can die? So I was like, you know, I said, that's the way I look at it. So if God, if God built Earth, then why did He bring all the disease and famine and everything else? And also, the way I also look at it too, in my debate of creation versus evolution, I believe in evolution. Because if that's the case, then the Christians also believe in evolution as well, because that means that, you know, no, let's scratch that. I'm not gonna go there. Let's scratch that, because my brain's thinking about 4 different things right now. Anyway, I gotta wrap this up, but basically what I'm trying to say is this: is I know God exists. The man kept me alive. I just question why in the hell He's kept me through all the pain and suffering, and still question the book of the Bible. I mean, even though I got some, I mean, John 10:10 is one of my favorite verses. The thief does not come to kill, steal, or destroy, but I have come to give life more abundantly. And I use that in my life, where it's like everything in life, you know, it's one of my themes, you know, or Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron, another man sharpens another. You know, I look at that in different ways, how I look at life. Those 2 verses, I look at that, and I use those 2 verses as a motivation to look at life. But again, you know, I'm sorry if I've upset some people with my views, but not to be rude, but it's my views. You know, can't change that. So anyway, y'all have a great day. We'll talk to y'all soon, and don't hate me. Bye.